Hi guys, today I'm going to be demonstrating a soft pretzel recipe. So again, we're still in our yeast spread unit and this is a yeast spread recipe. For my A group and my B groups, when you guys come into school on your given day, the first part of the recipe is already going to be done for you. So the dough is already going to be made, it's already going to be risen, and you'll be following along with the second part of the recipe, which I'll get to during the demonstration. As always though, it is important that you guys are watching what I'm doing, that you're reading the words on the screen and following along as we go. Before we get started though, I'm going to give you a little background on what we're doing today and the ingredients that we're using. So in this recipe, of course, we'll be using our yeast. Our yeast will be activated in 1.5 cups of warm water. Warm water, remember, you want the temperature to be about 115 degrees. Anything at 140 degrees Fahrenheit or any higher than that is going to be way too hot for our yeast and it's going to kill the yeast. So again, we want it to be around, give or take, like 115 degrees Fahrenheit. From there, with this recipe, we're going to be adding brown sugar. So 2 tablespoons of brown sugar are going to go into the yeast and the water mixture. You're going to stir that up. Remember, sugar does provide flavor. It also helps with a little bit of the browning. When you're using yeast though, sugar acts as food for the yeast. So yeast is going to gobble up all of that sugar and it's going to help it grow. It's going to help it expand. Sugar works as a food for the yeast. So from there, we're going to combine a little bit of salt into that mixture. Remember, salt is going to help to control the growth of the yeast. It's also going to give us a little bit of flavor. After that, we're going to add in flour. For this recipe, we're actually using 2 different types of flour. For the most part, we're going to be using our all-purpose normal flour, all-purpose flour, white flour. You're also going to see me add 1 cup of bread flour. Now, if you're doing this recipe at home and you don't have any bread flour, don't worry about it. It won't make a huge difference. However, bread flour is going to have more protein in it. It has a higher protein or higher gluten content in it, and it's going to give the pretzel the consistency that you desire, the consistency that you'd rather have for like a bread or a pretzel. It's going to make it a little bit more dense. So you'll add that, mix that all together. You'll let that sit out for a couple hours. It'll rise up. I'll show you that in the demo video in just a little bit. When that dough is done rising, you'll punch the dough down. If you're in class, everyone will be given a segment of that dough and you'll form it into your pretzels. Once you have your pretzel shaped form, you're actually going to dip it into a pan of water that is mixed with baking soda. You're just going to dip the pretzel into the baking soda bath, and what that does is it helps the outer coating of the pretzel have like a nice shine to it. It also gives it that pretzel-y type of taste that you're going for with a large soft pretzel. So after you do that, you'll place it on a baking sheet, pop it in the oven. I think it bakes for about 10 minutes or so. Then you guys will have the option to top them with either cinnamon sugar or a salt topping. I think I pretty much covered all of it. As always, pay attention to what you see me doing and pay attention to the words on the screen. Be prepared to answer questions when this demo video is over. Here we go.